Milwaukee's MX Fuel equipment system revolutionises the light equipment market by delivering the performance and durability demanded by the trades. From the MX Fuel cut-off saw and MX Fuel sower machine to the MX Fuel power supply and the MX Fuel tower light, MX Fuel has you covered without the hazards associated with emissions, noise, vibration, and the frustrations of petrol maintenance. MX Fuel, equipment system, equipment redefined. This episode is also brought to you by our friends at RIXX. RIXX is an Australian lifestyle brand founded with a mission to transform the eyewear industry by creating carefully crafted eyewear that inspires confidence. Everybody should be able to enjoy a touch of luxury and the confidence it brings. See the world differently today. Head online now at rixeyewear.com.au and check it out. Righto, let's get into the show. Stevo, welcome to the podcast, mate.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Tommy. Appreciate you getting me on quickly.
Nah, easy. We might as well let everyone know because it's all about storytelling, you know, when you're trying to do something. But you're keen to do a podcast. This is literally how it come about. You messaged me, said, mate, I want to do my own podcast. Where do I start? I said, jump on here and I'll introduce you to Braden afterwards. That's literally how it went 2 nights ago, I reckon.
Yeah, 100%. I obviously as AFL footballers, we've got a lot of time off. We do work hard, but we do get a lot of downtime, and I've been struggling to find things to fill in my time. So I thought, I've been listening to a lot of Joe Rogan podcasts. I've been listening to your podcast and thinking, geez, it'd be a great idea, something to fill in time. I mean, studying the person you're about to interview, just that sort of stuff interests me. So it's definitely something I was interested in, but I didn't really know where to start. And obviously you've been successful with yours. So I sent you a message and I didn't know if I'd be overstepping. I'm like, I'm going to try and
no way. The more the merrier, as I said, and Braden's the best. And Braden started the business, Rolln Media, for anyone else out there that does want some business. I don't know if he's got any slots left, but he'll sneak you in. We started at the same time, so it's been perfect. And, you know, it's been a pleasure to work with Braden and Rolln Media, and that's why when you message me, it's fantastic. There's a lot of people doing podcasts now. I think the world's woken up to, you know, the masks and the political correctness. Not that you don't want to be, you know, too out there, but people want to really hear your opinion. And when you're on mainstream television, you really can't say too much. Big audience, you know, you just got to play it straight bat. I feel like you can open up a little bit, but most people do play it straight bat. So going on, you know, and creating your own podcast, I think it's a great idea, and you're seeing more and more of it.
Yeah, 100%. It's obviously a popular industry, I suppose, at the moment, but I was looking into the numbers and there's only just over 1 million podcasts. And I know that sounds like a lot, but when there's 7 million people in the world, it's actually not really that many. So like you said, when we're getting interviewed after footy games or during the week, we've got to straight bat it, and there's not much you can really express of your opinion, if that makes sense. So getting out there and being able to explore, whether it be footballers, swimmers, other athletes or other people in general, just getting to know what's sort of within them, their inner core, rather than just what you see on face value, is certainly something I'm intrigued by.
I reckon you build relationships doing this as well. Like, I reckon it's opened up way more doors, way more, even like me and you, like I don't know you very well. I'll know you very well after this. We'll obviously keep in contact, but you meet so many people through chatting to them, and we'll pick up something today. I'll be like, even the other day when I was messaging you about, do you like NFL? Obviously we talk about American sports on here, and you do, you love it. NBA, not so much, but that's what I mean. You always pick up on something, and then there's always that passion. And once you've got a passion that aligns, that's it. That's the one. That's the hook. And you can talk all day, can't you?
That's it. Relationships, and especially two men, I suppose. Like if you can integrate sport into your relationship, find that common interest, you can sort of be friends for life. As silly as that sounds, like it only takes 1 or 2 things and you're like, yep, all right, I can talk to him about NFL.
Someone messaged me today. They're like, your Instagram story is like, you think it's, you know, it's just you promoting sport. That's literally all it is, isn't it? I feel like all I do is just pump up, you know, the boys that you play footy with, and then all the NFL and NBA drama that goes on, and then maybe an occasional video here and there from the podcast or business stuff. But yeah, it's just so, I don't know, I think sport's everything. Like I love it so much. And there's NFL especially, like we were saying, and NBA, AFL to a certain extent, but the Americans, they're because they get paid so much. There's so much drama. There's so many, like 1 minute you're thinking like Lamar Jackson's gone, then he signs a 5-year. You got OBJ there. We just saw Flowers picked up. Now I'm the happiest Raven of all time. I was almost depressed a week ago thinking he was going to go to San Fran. So like, and then you see all this drama about, you know, other stuff, and people might make a mistake off field and they're out for 6 weeks for, you know, whatever it is. It's you just never know what's going to happen.
I think with the American sports too, they're allowed to show their personality a lot more. And in a lot of those sports, like the player is bigger than the association.
Yeah.
I think about LeBron James, for instance. I've heard stories that he walks in, he doesn't like a strength coach, so he goes, "Phew," and the strength coach out the door. Yeah. Like, I can't imagine me walking into an AFL club going, "Oh, I don't like the strength coach. Can we get rid of him?" I'd be gone in 2 days. So it's amazing just the difference in that. And as you were talking about with the Aussies and their sport, like even golf, I'm madly into golf at the moment.
The Live, mate.
The Live golf at Adelaide. Like that went insane. Sold out 3 days. And it's like, you bring them to go do 4 or 5 capital cities in Australia. They'll sell out everywhere.
Mate, how good are we? We're so lucky. We live in the best country by a mile. I'm not just saying that because we're from here. Like, you travel to Europe and America, all great places as well. You might go to some other places that aren't as flash to get a reality check. You come back here, not only have we got it so good, when we put on an event, you're talking F1, Aussie Open, Live Golf in Adelaide. Like, no disrespect to Adelaide. Adelaide's a beautiful place. But we know Melbourne would, I reckon, go next level. But what does Australia do? Put it in Adelaide, sell out one of the best Live tournaments they've had so far. And now they're talking about doing 2. Like, it's so good.
That's it. I reckon you could put the world snooker champions on it. Rod Laver Arena and it'll be full house, sold out. Like, unbelievable. And people just want to get out, and it's a good social thing to do too. Go watch sport, you have a few beers, pay $20 a beer, whatever it may be, but it still brings people there and everyone has a good time. You
do love your golf, and I know our man Dommy Tyson would be filthy if we didn't mention Clutch & Co. Yes, you can get your discount. Use Aces, everyone out there. He's killing it, isn't he? And he's got so much cool kit. Last time I saw you, actually going, have you gone away with your crew? I know you're getting the custom embroidery from Dommy, and you got all your golfing crew set up. Have you guys gone away yet?
No, not yet. I got a little bit toey on that and jumped the gun. We're not going till October, but
so you just got it all. You're organised.
Organised in April, so
that's elite, actually.
Yeah, going down to Barnbugle, Lost Farm, Cape Wickham. So we get like a little private 8-seater through this Air Adventure group, and there's 8 of us. So we fly over to King Island, play the 2 courses there, have a night's accommodation, then do the same in Barnbugle in Tassie. So it's 4 days, pretty affordable too, actually, because I was thinking...
Is it $2.5 grand?
$2.5 grand.
Yeah, I think my mate just got that for his 30th, and I think he's just paid off, and then he's got 7 other spots. And I think we're going to go next year.
Yeah.
And it is very affordable.
100%. And it's actually funny, one of my best mates, he was supposed to be coming, Mad Golf. We both got into it about the same time and we're booked in. And one of our other mates missed out. He just wasn't in the 8. Like, he wasn't playing golf at the time when we booked it. And my mate, him and his girlfriend have fallen pregnant. So he's like, Stevo, I can't come. I'm going to have to pull out the baby's due around that same time. So I'm there thinking, like, how can I spin this to get the other bloke in? Yeah. But he didn't want to tell everyone because only like 4 or 5 weeks in to the pregnancy.
Oh, right.
Didn't want to tell everyone. So I've spoken to my mate and I'm like, hey, mate, you'd never guess it. The host's offsider has pulled out. There's a spare seat in the plane. Do you want to come? And he's just eating it up. Oh, yeah, that's great. How lucky is it the offsider's not coming?
That is so good. Off the bench.
Yeah, it wasn't until just recently that he found out the true reason.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully the reason's out before this podcast is out, because he would have found out. That's incredible. It's always tough. I was saying that to my mates. Okay, righto, boys. You guys are going. There's 7 spots. Do I make the cut? And you make the cut, or who else is going? And there's always 1 or 2 that's a bit stiff.
Yeah, 100%.
It's great. And golf, just on golf though, like, you go pretty well. And I'm going to ask you what else you go well, but what are you hitting? What are you off at the moment? Your handicap?
About 8.
8?
Yeah. So I started really picking up. I played a little bit of 9 holes here and there since I was like 17, but nothing very seriously. And for some reason last year, like I said, again with the podcast, I'm a little bit impulsive. I just think of something, I need to fill in my time, I suppose. So last July, I just went down and signed up at the local golf course, Eastwood, just out in Kilsyth. A little shout out to Eastwood. Signed up there and put my 3 cards in, got a handicap 25. I was like, beautiful, how good is this? And watching your handicap come down is one of the most rewarding things ever. Yes. And then it can also be one of the most annoying when you go out there and you shoot 20 Stableford points and you're thinking, I've got to give this up.
Oh, it's just nothing worse at the turn when you're like, I just can't get 40 points today. Like, I can't even get 36, like it's so hard. Mate, 8 is unbelievable. Like, and your trends, as they say, your friend, you're going down, aren't you? Like, you are still going on the decline.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, getting better every time, but I'm probably playing 2 or 3 times a week. So
no wonder you're starting to find.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed if I wasn't getting better.
What's your strength is it off the tee, or are you just all rounded?
No, I'm off tee's probably what I'm worst at, that driver. I'm not sure where it goes, but pretty good on the green. Good putting. So Putt for dough.
We'll have to get you to the Aces, next Aces golf day. I'm going to plan a monster for the next one.
Yeah, beautiful.
Just trying to work it out with the off season and Melbourne weather. Melbourne weather scares the living daylights out of me. We've been lucky, but the first one we did last year was, I reckon it was like a kilometre off, just ruining my whole tournament. It just went past us, and then the sun come out. But we'll have to get you there. It'd be good to see you in full flight. See if you're a bandit like the rest of them. Mate, let's talk a little bit about like you and footy. I mean, as I said, I don't know you that well, but from afar, you see so much of athletes like everyone does, and you think you know them because you see them on television and you see what they do. But I guess my observations of you is like highly talented young fella that come into the system, pretty undersized, went to full forward and just took it for, just took the Pies for a storm there, and then had a few off-field dramas, and now and then you went to North. And I felt like they put you in the wrong position. This is my opinion, by the way. I felt like they, tried you down back. And then now Clarko's come in. The club looks more stable, and they've put you back to where you belong, which is that half forward line. And, every time I watch, you're kicking 2 goals. You got elite speed. You always hit the scoreboard. You just look more relaxed and more at home. Would that be fair to say that Clarko's found you back in your spot and you fell in love with footy a bit more?
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, at Pies, came on, first year was a whirlwind, just sort of went out there, was playing on pure adrenaline, played in a grand final. That was an unbelievable experience. And I suppose at the time we lost, and I was like, it's bad, but I'll probably get back here soon.
Yeah.
You figure it's going to happen all the time when you have a first year like I did. And as I know now, that's not the case. It's actually very hard to get to. So that next year then started my second year really well. I'd kicked 20 goals in 12 games sort of thing. And then obviously the betting suspension came up, and that was pretty hard to take. Obviously, I stuffed up, but I think the situation probably could have been handled differently, and it mightn't have had the same ramifications. You never know. But obviously, then moving to North, it's hard going from a successful team. I'd played 8 finals in 3 years. Yeah, granny, prelim, semi, and then to go to the bottom of the ladder, it's a big difference. Like, the reviews are different. What you can get away with when you're winning, you can get away with anything. I could rock up to Pies training and do the main session in my tracky pants and just get through, and everyone's like, yep, no worries, all good. Whereas I rock up to North training and I have a beanie on. Stevo, take the beanie off, like it's not on.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing the difference in the vibes when you're winning and when you're losing. And like you said, I've been thrown around a lot the last 2 years, and I really did start losing my passion for footy. But Clarko certainly brought it back because he rewards Roll. So the last 2 years, it's like I could go out there and have 20 and 2. Which is a reasonable game for a half forward. And it's like, the key message in my review was you weren't putting on enough pressure. It's like, all right, no worries. And the next week I'm like, I've got a pressure. Go out there, pressure, have 10 touches, don't kick a goal. Stevo, what are you doing? You got to kick 2 goals. Like, it was just too much going on. Every week there seemed to be something new that I wasn't doing, or rather than looking at the things that you were doing well. So this year has been a massive change. It's go out there, round 1, didn't kick a goal, but played my role how I was supposed to, and I come in, I just get rewarded for that. So obviously it's going to then continue to make me play to my role, and I understand if I play to my role, eventually I'll get a lick of the ice cream and I'll kick a few goals, and I've been lucky to do that the last few weeks.
Yeah, you're spot on, and you feel better about yourself, don't you? Like when you go on shithouse, you already know how it works, right? And it's funny, I look back now, I was very lucky to play finals and then also play at a club it went from minor premiers to 0 and 10 the next year. And you can literally, what you just said is spot on. You got way more meetings. I've got a sunglass brand. I'm wearing sunglasses outside in walkthroughs, and they're spraying me, take your fucking sunnies off, mate. What is this? Like Hollywood take? And you're going, what the fuck is going on here? Everyone was just tense. You look like, you're just trying to be yourself. Everything has to be, they're just looking for anything, really.
Yeah.
And then you're spot on when I was a fringe player, so in and out, I really know players. I understand how they tick because I feel like I know what they're going through. And that's why, not just recently, I was on the Dylan Friends podcast carrying on like a pork chop. But the Suns, I'm actually a big fan of the Suns, but I get real frustrated what they do at selection and how they put Fiorini, for example, in, and then they take him out and they put him in, they take him out and they put him in, and they put him to a wing and then they take him out, they make him the sub. I go, you're just killing this player. Like, you're killing his confidence. I don't care whether you're telling him behind closed doors, he's going really well, we really value you. They're not silly. Players aren't silly. And when you put them in and out and you stuff around with them and you give them mixed messages like you just said, you start to fall out of love with the game and you start to like, what am I meant to be doing here?
And you don't play on instinct. Like we all got drafted because we're reasonable footballers as under 18s. We've got the football now. So obviously there's a lot to teach about structure and all that sort of stuff, but I think that they overdo it when we've got the ball. Like AFL footballers, when they get the ball, they typically know what they're going to do with it. They've got a reasonable idea of how to turn something special, but it sort of almost gets coached out of you and it can as a young kid.
Yeah.
So that's why I was so fortunate. I had Brenton Sanderson as my forwards coach at Pies. And like I could come out and have 5 touches. I had against Freo one day, I had 5 touches, no goals. And I've come home going, oh, I'm going to get dropped. Like I'm no good. I walk into my review and I walk out of there thinking, I'm Wayne Carey. Like, Sando's just like, mate, look at this. You're chasing pressure. It's unbelievable. Like, he was just so animated, so enthusiastic, like just really good at building confidence in people. So, I mean, after the reviews every week, I was walking out there thinking, geez, this week's going to be good because, like, if I play the same as that, but I kick 2 or 3 goals, he's going to think I'm best ever.
And that's what you do. You'd kick, you didn't need many touches, but you just score. And you can only imagine your confidence would be sky high after kicking one early.
Yeah, exactly. Always good. I always seem to kick one in the first quarter. That seems to be my go-to, so it's always quite nice.
That's what you want. You want to be you want to get a nice touch early. There's nothing worse than being a bit like my last game of footy, which is what sucks. Like what, they say, it's like if you're a comedian, you want to start well and you want to finish well. Well, athletes are the same, right? You want to, not that I thought I was going to finish when I did, but mate, after the calf tendon and all the hype, I'm finally back, man. I think I had 1 disposal at 3/4 time, right? This is in the COVID year on the wing. It was like I'd lost the plot, but the ball just wouldn't come near me. It was like, I'd love to watch it. I've never watched the tape again, but you just think, fuck, and then you get, I think I had like 4 touches in the last quarter, which felt like fucking heaven. You know what I mean? Like I can actually still just get near it. But when you get the ball early, I don't know what it does to your brain. I've got another guest coming up. I might ask him, but that psychology behind just sticking to it. And that's why the coaches are so important. Because if they're on your side, you don't lose. You don't start thinking about, oh, fuck, if I don't get a kick here, I'm going to get dropped. Or, you go into the sheds and you've had, 5 disposals. You get the win, but you're thinking about, oh, fuck, everyone's going to come for me here. I've done nothing. Well, that's not the case. Internally, they value, and that's probably why you're still winning games at the Pies.
100%.
Sticking to the strategy. If it works at 1 week, next week you'll bob up.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously watching the Pies this year is just amazing. Like, it feels... The vibe that I'm watching, seeing Collingwood play, it feels like that 2018 year. Like you got someone like Nick Dacos who comes in, he's just a superstar.
He's too good, mate.
It's unbelievable the numbers he's having. And obviously Josh Dacos lived with me for 6 months there, so I got to know Nick pretty well, and I've got some funny stories about Nick.
That's great. Did you think Nick, now that because you grew up with him, or you saw him when he was coming through the ranks, how old would he would have been? What, 14 then?
Nah, he was probably 16, 17. So he was on his way, but. Although they're 2 of the hardest working boys I know. So Josh was living with me. Nick was in high school, and 2 times a week after school, they'd go down to the local oval, have a kick. They'd go and do gym at Woodford's gym. Like they're always just doing extra stuff, always doing touch, just really disciplined. And it doesn't surprise me why they're playing so well. And I think obviously Nick's getting all the credit, but Josh is a superstar as well. Like what he's doing on the wing there, he's an integral part of their team, and I think he's a big reason for why Nick is as good as he is as well.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. Imagine how's the plums on the old man? He's produced. if he was to go to stud, like it's as good as it gets, doesn't it? And the fact that they're at the same club, he's off the halfback, Nick's off the Josh was off the wing.
Yeah,
I'd love to know how many times they link up in a game. It'd have to be 10 or 15. Like it's because it's the way it is: halfback to wing to half forward, and then kick a sausage. But they link up beautifully.
There's no doubts in their mind where they're automatically just drawn to give it to each other. And I'm glad Nick took the 35 as well. Obviously, it'd been tradition; the highest pick had gotten 35. But for him to keep the same number as his old man, I reckon it's a great idea. And I know if my old man had played AFL, I would want the same number.
Yeah. And it makes the high numbers cool again, doesn't it? Like when you're younger, I always wanted 5 for James Hird and maybe 18, but for Lloyd, but 18's a heavy, like it's a full forwards number. I felt like 5 was more like, just not that Hirdy wasn't small, but he's more a mid forward. He could play anywhere, but I think Nick Dacos is probably starting to make 35 cool.
Oh, 100%, yeah. I think I probably made it cool to start with at Collingwood for my first year. But I always had number 16 on my back growing up for Jonathan Brown. Loved him, mad Brisbane supporter. And then after I obviously had my first year in 35, I knew I had to change numbers, and Chris Mayne was in 16. You know Maney from...
Yeah, I know Maney well.
Yeah. So I said to Maney, I was like, come on, mate, your career's nearly done. Your career's nearly
And
done.
weren't you boys like not you, that they was shafting him in that first year?
Yeah. No, Maney's a ripper fella and a very good footballer. But I was like, mate, your career's nearly done. How about you give me 16 and you can just move to another year for another number for your last couple of years?
What did Maney end up going to?
No, he didn't move.
Oh, he didn't move. I was going to say
he goes, Stevo, if I see an envelope with 10K cash in my locker, you can have 16. I was like, oh, probably not worth it. So I went to the one. And then when I moved to North, they said, oh, you can keep your number one if you want. And I was like, obviously you don't sign as many things when you're at North. When I was at Pi, I was signing all the time. And the little one, it's like this thick. So it's so hard to get a tiny little signature on it. So I was like, no, I need to be able to open up a bit more. So I've gone for the 2 and it's allowed me to do big, massive signatures. So
that's great
that's
insight.
the thought process behind it.
Well, I went to sign the 11, so I must have been doing something similar.
Yeah.
That's fucking funny, Maney. 10K check. He makes me laugh, Maney. I've got so many stories on Maney that I'll never tell, but he's a straighty 180 at the Pies, and obviously he was a bit more relaxed, not that he was loose, but he was obviously a bit younger, and I got I saw the other side of him. Now he's a family man, 3 kids, and coaching, students at high schools, and is a vegan, doesn't drink. He's done the 180, the big fella. But
he used to tell us all the time, he's like, mate, like back in the day, I was doing this, doing that. And we were like, man, you're the biggest nerd. There's no way you were doing that. You just come and you're like, okay, they're not going to know stories from me over in Perth, so they're not going to be able to marry up the stories. But there you go. This is the first time I've actually heard someone say it.
Even his wedding, we're at his wedding, and we're just telling a few stories. There's Freo boys, Pies boys, and some of the Pies boys weren't just didn't believe us. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, no way. I think Maney had 2 beers at his own wedding. He was. Yeah. That's how serious he was and committed to the new lifestyle. But yeah, he's such a good fella. I live with Maney. He was so good for the young guys.
Yeah, really.
That 10K thing makes me laugh. You should have put a little bit of cash in there. Would have been 10K. He was on 500 for 4 years, as if he needed another 10K off the young fella.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
That makes me laugh. Do you miss anything about the Pies, or have you moved on? Obviously, I feel like North's in a great spot moving forward. Don't worry about wins and losses, the list, and once it develops, you can just tell it's got a great future there. I've said this to a few people. I love the midfield now, and I love that there's a lot of young tools, and those tools will build, and then you can add around that, and you've got Sheasel coming in, and blokes like you probably have been forgotten. I honestly reckon people have forgotten about how good you can be when you get a few more entries and kick a few more sausages. It's a pretty exciting team. But do you miss anything about being at the Pies back in the day?
I was telling a story today, actually, to one of the boys. We were talking about Anzac Day, and I said,
oh, what was that?
Oh, Anzac Day, playing out there was my first one. I got the ball and took 2 bounces down the wing, and every step that I took, my whole head was just bouncing from the noise, because everyone was getting more and more excited the further I ran.
Yes.
And it's I haven't had that feeling for at least 3 years. So that's probably the main thing I miss.
I know the exact feeling, mate. When Hayden Ballantyne used to get, which is the same role, it's the deep forward. He gets the ball in the middle of the field and he's got a paddock, and the crowd can all they can see is you, the goals, and space, and they know you got some speed. So it's just everyone's run.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the atmosphere. I mean, I can only, mate, it's just goosebumps even being in the crowd. I was with my uncle, my cousin Jimmy, shout out, it's his 18th birthday in Streeter, right? We're watching the game, and we're watching, and I was like, he get me, I was like, do you miss being out there? And I'm like, mate, I'd do anything just to be out. I don't miss playing, but I fucking would do anything to play on this day and play forward. Because it's I don't think I want to be in the back line in one of these days. There's so much, noise, but playing forward, that last quarter, the Pies coming back from the Dons, it was it was elite. I was just watching and observing and just hoping the Pies would bring it back. So it was the atmosphere would lift. Mate, we're 95,000, I reckon 80,000 Pies fans, but the atmosphere, I don't think you get it anywhere in the world. That amount of people.
That's the thing, even with the Pies too, you can go over to Perth and you can play against Fremantle, and usually Fremantle will just dominate you, whereas we've still got probably the majority crowd there when I was at Pies. So the good thing about North though, the group of people and we've got, especially my teammates, but all the staff around, they're all amazing. They make work an enjoyable place to go. So although the results aren't coming on the weekend, rocking up every day, you look forward to the banter, you look forward to even just doing weights sort of thing. It's more enjoyable. We've got a good strength coach. So I'm really enjoying being at North Melbourne this year. My love for footy has really come back.
It's great, mate. It's great to hear that. And I know personally, knowing a few of you boys, there's some great characters in the room. I think of Bon, and I think of, even just having Griff Logue in the room. So, no, he's such a good man to have around, especially when you're a young group going through the life of a, young group, which is wins and losses and probably more losses and learnings, but that's what you need to build. And even like Larky, mate, he is, Sylvie's one of the, when he wants to be, he's hilarious.
He's hilarious, yeah. He's just good at everything, Sylvie. He can paint, he can sing, he can play the guitar. He can't really sing actually, but he does a little bit. He plays the guitar very well. He's a good footballer. He's tall. He's got great leadership, but he can also have a beer with the boys. Yeah, exactly. No, if my sister didn't already have a boyfriend, I'd be trying to hook her up with Sylv. Yeah, he's a gentleman. He's a little bit, needed to be a little bit better looking, but you can't have it all. You can't have it all, can you? Who are the guys that light up the locker room internally that we might not know of? A little quiet one, probably Eddie Ford. I don't know him. Yeah, so he wears number 40 and he's played a couple of senior games, but has mostly been in the twos. But some of the stuff he comes up with, I don't even know where it comes from. He's just that funny, and he's one of those people that always just telling one line of jokes, and they're always terrible. Yeah. So he says them, and everyone just sort of cringes, but it is funny. And he's one of those kids too, where he's a bit of a larrikin and can come across as a bit stupid, but I think he's a lot more intelligent than he is, and one of those people that's really caring. Like if I ever messaged him needing anything, he'd be the first one there to help. So yeah, he certainly lights up the locker room. That's great. I love hearing that. How you going? I know with the start of the year, you started better than I don't know whether it's expected from the outside, but internally you're trying to win every game. But how you going when you get a couple of losses, and it starts to be big losses? Are you noticing a few more meetings? Are you noticing a few blokes' mood drop? Is there some strong leadership from Clarko to say, boys, we're good, nothing changes, it's just process driven, the result will take care of itself? Have you noticed anything compared to the last year or two that maybe the roller coaster ride was a bit deeper and higher? Yeah, I think the last few years we've been changing it up a lot more. So week to week we change as to who we're playing. So we might be playing Essendon, for instance, and I mean, this isn't any factor or anything, but Essendon, we might want to use the ball quicker, go with more speed, and then the next week we want to slow it down. Yeah. And it's sort of where we're catering for the opposition way too much rather than just playing our game style and hoping that it backs up. Mm-hmm. So this year with Clarko, man, he's been really calm. Like against Brisbane, we had a bad loss out at Mount Barker, but Brisbane are a very good side. We're a learning team, so that result isn't too bad in those sort of terms, but we were pretty disappointed with our loss to Gold Coast on the weekend. That was, we didn't really feel like we were in it at all. Like we're obviously all trying, but they got the jump on us and they seemed to be able to just keep that lead. So it was obviously disappointing, but Clarko's been so level-headed, and I mean, he's been through the same thing at Hawthorn when he first started there, and what it'd take 4 years for them to win a flag there. So hopefully we want to fast track it and it not take 4 years, but he understands that it does take time, and he's very good at just teaching and encouraging, I suppose. Has he given any almighty sprays yet to just wake the group up? Not really, no. It's more just in his general meetings. He can all of a sudden just boom, not even get angry, but just say something, and it's just a big raised voice, and you're sort of like, oh, what's just going on? Yeah, it's interesting. It must fill the room with confidence just knowing that he can do it. I was listening to something the other day, and it was actually about it was about Jason Horne-Francis, but I don't want to bring that to air. But it was more about, the decision to go back, and, the club had no coach and all this kind of stuff. But now the club's so settled. You've got so many, you got Sheasel there as well. You've got a great head coach. I think you got a list that's going to, if you do finish lower in the ladder, you're going to get another good pick, and then, you skyrocket. If you finish around, hopefully you can sneak around a final. But if you don't, you still got another great pick next year. And then you got all these young guys coming through with the year of a game plan, like you said, that's simple and consistent. It must be a more exciting place to be, and you can kind of see why old Horne-Francis was a bit rattled, because there's a bit going on there, wasn't there? Yeah. No, it's like you said, it's taken a real shift this year, and everyone believes in his plans. So that's the main thing. Like as a coach, you need people to believe in what you're saying. If people don't believe, then it's not going to work. So we've got great belief that he knows what he's talking about, and obviously we've had one preseason, so it's not solidified in everyone's minds, the game plan, I suppose. Yeah. So obviously there's still mistakes here, there, everywhere. We're making too many mistakes at the moment, but with time, another preseason under our belt, that's going to become a lot more consistent, and Yeah, it'll certainly help us going forward.
How old are you now?
I just turned 24.
Oh, so yeah. And majority of your group, they're pretty young, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm probably middle rung somewhere. So
yeah, even Dry Boy, I didn't realise how your skipper, I didn't realise how young he was. I thought he was a bit older than that.
Yeah, well, Jai's in his 7th year. I'm in my 6th. So
it's going to be, you got a good core group coming through. I think Griff's similar.
Yeah, Griff's in his
Larks,
7th.
the Bull, Zerha, what's he? He'd be 6th or 7th?
7th, yeah.
Yeah, so it's still a very young list.
Oh, 100%.
People forget that, don't they? It makes a huge difference. You see it, you do need a few old guys around, but that's a nice core to work with.
Yeah, 100%. We've got probably 12, 13 players consistently playing in the ones that are 23 to 25. So if we can all put it together, the future looks pretty bright, I would say.
Let's have an interesting take here just in terms of your view. The teams that you think are just flying, just from your observation.
I think Collingwood are flying. I think they're going to be very hard to beat this year. Obviously, St Kilda's come out of nowhere and
haven't they ever
sort of surprised me, but I still think Collingwood, Geelong are the two best teams. Yep. You look at Geelong, they've actually got the second highest percentage and they're sitting 10th. It's unbelievable. So obviously they might have had their little premiership hangover for 3 weeks, but they've certainly kicked into gear of late and they'll again be very hard to beat.
I think I reckon you're right. And people don't realise that the schedule, they had a tough start to the year.
Yeah.
They had a couple of easy games, but they didn't win they won very convincingly. So you can't say that you can only beat who's in front of you. Now, NFL, back to that. Have you got where did you first fall in love with NFL? Have you travelled overseas in your off-season much?
I have been to America. Didn't go to an NFL game though. I went to a college game. Where was it? In Orlando somewhere. Wasn't really into it at all. And then got back and one of my mates was starting this NFL fantasy league. And I was like, yep, I'll jump in, something just to be involved and give you an hour a week to research and look into that sort of stuff. So I jumped in and that was about 5 years ago and have just been hooked ever since. So
good.
Big fantasy draft night and we do a little bit different. Usually there's a prize money for the winner. So we've got usually an 8 to 10 man league. So the top half, they'll pay the winner $200 each sort of thing. But then we have a big dinner between the 8 or 10 of us and the bottom 5 have to pay for that dinner.
Yeah,
so that's brilliant. Usually in the off season. So dinner, 1 or 2 drink, 1 or 2 maybe,
1 or 2.
10 or 12.
Yeah, how fun is that, by the way? When you go in shit house again, coaches, how many drinks did you have on the weekend, boys? But you end up if you had 1, 2. When the fuck does no one not have 10 plus? It's you're drinking or you're not. And I don't want you to answer this. I don't want to get you in trouble. But I know for a fact that I was lying. I was putting the hand up, mate, just 4, responsible. What a lie. That's just a weird task that they make you do at football clubs. But definitely more than 2 jars when you're having a fantasy draft and a dinner that's not, did you finish top 3?
No, I was in the bottom this year.
So maybe you took it easy.
So we were at the Atlantic at Crown. So I had a few, it was a pretty hefty bill to be fair.
What was the bill?
It was about 2.5 between 5 of us.
Yeah,
5 of us had to pay for it.
Yeah, 500. You copped that for being no good.
Yeah, not too bad. I think I won 2 games for the year and they were both games where we'd had individual head-to-head little wages on it as well.
Yeah,
so I was rubbish. And I'd be like, all right, I'm versing a team that's way better than me this week. How about we put a round of golf at St Andrews on it? Yep, no worries. And I'd win that week.
Yeah, that's great.
And then the other one was for a jersey. We said whoever loses buys the other one a jersey.
That's
and
a great bet.
I pipped him again there. So I got my...
you got your money back?
Got my money back pretty much.
What was the jersey?
I got Chris Olave.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because you're a Saints man.
Saints man, so...
Fuck, he's good.
He's that good, yeah. And now he's got Derek Carr there. I think he's even going to be better.
Do you think Derek Carr can get it done?
He's going to be very good, yeah.
Are they going to play him? Or are they going to keep putting in the Swiss Army knife? And when Hill comes in on the goal line, it's the most painful thing for fantasy, mate. And I have a little bet on the NFL, mate. You got Kamara sitting there. I took Kamara in the first round, right?
Oh yeah.
Last year, I thought this is in the Aces one. This is big. We have big cash in that one. I'm thinking, fuck. Everyone thinks he's going to go to jail and get in trouble, and I'm like, that court case will keep going. I'm thinking they've got really no quarterback. They'll lean on him way more this year. In comes Taysom Hill, every goal line, mate. Every goal line. Or they don't use him, or they just throw it to the tight end. I'm thinking, why is this bloke not getting a gig? It's like they were just bringing his price down. He cost me a lot last year, Kamara.
Yeah, I can imagine.
He just did nothing. And then I think he has 1 or 2 weeks where he'll put up monstrous scores.
Yeah. Obviously, as a Saints fan, I don't feel inclined to take any Saints players because I know how they play. Like you said, Hill comes in and does whatever he wants, really. Who knows what he's doing. So I try and stay away from him, and then I can just watch and enjoy them either playing well or get angry at them not playing so well.
They are and what do you think of Michael Thomas?
I don't know if he's ever going to be back to what he was.
Do you think he was just a product of Drew Brees?
No, I think he's very good, but his body's just let him down too much, I think. And it's a pretty short lifespan in NFL. Like,
mate, I was thinking about that the other day. Yeah,
you've got 3 years where you're in your prime, really. Otherwise, you're getting old and all this sort of stuff. So, yeah, I think he might be past his best, but he can still chip in and help if his body stays right.
I was just watching the draft, obviously, so everyone out there that's listening and watching, the NFL draft's on as we speak, and I just watched the first 10 picks, and it's just so exciting. Like, it's just cool to see the strategy, you know? Like, imagine have you seen that Draft Day movie?
No, I haven't.
Haven't you? No. Oh, everyone listening and watching, go watch that movie if you haven't. Draft Day, mate, it's the best movie. It's pretty much like as close as you can get to NFL Draft Day and what goes on behind the scenes.
Story, or is it more just a movie?
No, it's made up, I think, but it's similar. Like, it's pretty close. Yep. Gives you pretty good insights. But Draft Day gives you great insight to what the club's strategy is and what they're trying to do and who they're trying to pick. I think Pittsburgh got a offensive tackle. So then obviously Najee Harris has gone for 1,000 yards 2 years in a row, but he's had no one to open up gaps for him. So now he gets this bloke on the left tackle, whatever. He might be able to open up some gaps. And you're just starting to see, what they're going to start to do, like wide receiver taken for my boys, the Ravens. So Lamar's got OBJ and Flowers, and now he's, Bateman comes back. So you can see that they're trying to support the offense, and maybe they'll throw it more this year. They won't try run every play.
Yep.
It's just exciting. And then you see Houston trade. Like, imagine being in the room. I think there's like 20 blokes in the room more, and they're trading live picks. Like, I don't think AFL does that. Like, they do, but it's not
the same.
Pick 3 moves to pick 6 for a future 12 and, whatever. It's just on, and they got 10 minutes. It's so exciting. It's
unbelievable. I think CJ Stroud, he went pick 2
to
the Texans, but I think he'll end up being the best quarterback of the groups. Obviously, Bryce Young went 1, but I really like CJ Stroud.
The thing that I get confused, I don't watch enough, so I don't sit here confidently. I could sit here all day about NFL, but college, I need some time. But the height of a quarterback is such a pivotal thing, I think. I just don't see many under 5'9". I mean, Russell Wilson has been all right.
Kyler Murray's pretty good.
But he hasn't really.
Yeah.
He's struggled because of his height. He can't get over that line of, the pocket. He gets stuck in there. He can't see over the line of scrimmage. But yeah, they reckon this bloke's a superstar, and not many pick 1s fail, do they?
No, exactly.
You can't fuck a pick 1 up, can you?
No, you can't. You do it in the thought, especially when he's won the Heisman as well.
You got so much. It's pretty hard to mess that up.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, it's exciting stuff. And do you guys do an NFL draft at the footy club, or is this just with your mates?
We did do one last year at the footy club. Yeah, I think I'm like 3rd or 4th in that. Flynn Perez actually took it down, but we had like 14 teams. Actually, here's a good story. So Huey Greenwood he was running the league.
He's the commissioner.
He's organised it. And he goes, all right, boys, we're going to do the draft order. We're going to pull them out of a hat. Like, yeah, no worries. He goes, everyone meet in the theatre at 1:00. So we all walk in there. There's 14 of us. Go, no like hat, no names, no nothing. Like, what's going on? The screen pops up, and I don't know, for any of the viewers out there, hopefully there's not too many young viewers, but Lisa Ann pops up.
Who's that?
I don't know. I had to look her up too. So she pops up, and she's got a little toy, like a toy shape like this, and she's pulling our names out. She's like, we got Big Body Scotty.
Are you serious?
And she did like a 5-6 minute thing. She was unbelievable. Like, Hugh had paid for a and we obviously chipped in as well, but he paid
cameo or something.
A cameo, and she was a good 5, 6, 7 minutes, and just everything you would have hoped for was like in it. You know what I mean? Like, it was perfect.
Who got pick 1?
Can't even remember.
That is the coolest thing I've ever heard for an NFL draft, like the reveal of which pick you get. Lisa Ann live off the cameo and reading out your names.
Yeah, and she was talking about it, and she's like, she'd like Stevo or better be better than last year, that sort of stuff.
Or giving you a bit of banter, and he's obviously written in what to say.
Or he's written in, and he had to think by 2 because the first few, you only get like 250 characters, and it couldn't all fit in one, so we had to buy a second one to get more characters.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so first 6 first. Yeah.
It was like, Marnes, we've got Marnes at pick 3. heard you went on a date the other night. Like, It was fantastic. It was so good. All the boys raved about it.
That is elite. And was it just the 12 in the room, or did you have all the boys?
No, there was 14. Obviously, just the 14 of us in the room. Like, it was fantastic.
That's a great story, brother. Thanks for sharing. That is so good. The old cameo. Shout out to them, but and Lisa Ann.
Yeah, she did a great job. Because she's doing like an NFL show, I think, at the moment. She actually knows her NFL well and has I don't know if it's a podcast or a show, but she talks about it anyway. So she was giving tips throughout, and it was unbelievable. It's
amazing, the little things in life that just, that would have just shocked the boys. And and then to have it scripted with the boys' picks, starting to think that I need to lift my game as commissioner. I don't think I've pulled anything like that off before.
No, well, it's definitely an idea. There's plenty of people out there like her.
I was just saying earlier when we had Campbell Brown, we had the porn awards when I was in Vegas. I didn't see her there, but all the porn stars were rolling around literally the same hotel. It was bizarre, like the timing of it. There was some freaks in the room, mate. Like, think about like the freaks that have travelled from outside of town just to get these porn stars autographs and photos, like these kind of freaks.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And then obviously all the glamours and all the porn stars and all that in the room. But we never saw Lisa Ann, the queen.
She's the queen.
That's unbelievable by Huey. Fuck, what a legend.
Yeah.
That's great leadership. Yeah. That's what it's all about. A bit of fun. We know fantasy's luck. You need some luck.
Oh, it's all luck. And that's what I said. It's just banter and something to talk about. We're doing F1 fantasy at the moment, actually. Oh, yeah. So that's a different concept again. So you get the $100 million to spend and you get 5 drivers a team, this sort of thing. But it's so good coming in after a race and Leclerc's crashed out again. Oh my God, like what am I going to do? Who am I going to trade in? It just keeps the conversation going, and it's something that common interest. Like I said at the start of the podcast, if you can find a common interest with a mate, it brings you all together.
I'm excited for your podcast. So let's go back to your podcast. I want to pump it up again. Have you named it yet?
Yeah, I'm going to call it Reminisce with Jaidyn.
Beautiful. And have you got it online so people right now can just go to Spotify and subscribe?
No, I haven't got it on Spotify yet. Just an Instagram page. I've got 5 or 6 guests lined up already. So
Beautiful.
Just going to start filming. I want to try and get 5 or 6 episodes done before I release the first one.
Yeah.
Just so I don't have that time pressure of if I can't do it 1 week, I can still put an episode out.
Know exactly how you feel, brother. I've got no one next week. You're the next one up. Because that's what happens. You bank some and then you go, wait for... Because what I've noticed, it's hard to talk about... We're talking about stuff that happened not long ago, but I know you're coming up next. You don't want to get stuck in what happened right now, because when the time it's edited and chucked up, she's gone, you know what I mean? 100%. So having them banked and talking about people, you can do that forever.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a smart strategy, mate. You don't put yourself under time pressure, and blokes like Braden over there on the panels, as we like to say, they hate it. He's got 5 in the bank and we're cruising.
Yeah, 100%.
And have you got any, can you sneak peek who the first one is, or maybe one of the guests that are coming up?
Yeah, so my inaugural guest, I asked him, I was like, do you want to come on? He's like, mate, I'd be honoured to. He's actually a mate of mine, Kyle Chalmers. So
yes.
He's got the 100-metre world record and has won Olympic gold. So I'm going to try and start with people that I'm mates with to start with, because I think they can make it more enjoyable rather than just talking about them and the stuff they've done and stuff that's probably been in the news that people all know about. Like, I got some funny stories with Kyle. So it's like, we can talk about that, and it adds both humour, storytelling, and a recap of what they've done in their career. Certainly will make it more enticing for the listener.
You're spot on. People don't want to hear too much of the same. That's why I asked you before, you've been on any other ones. You don't really want to talk about the same stuff. That Huey Greenwood story you just shared, if you can give more of them, like that is what I call the gems, mate. And that's what I mean. That is fucking unbelievable.
It's something I haven't thought about for about a year either, but just triggers you. When you're talking with people and you're having these chats, memories trigger, and I haven't been able to take the smile off my face since. Like, it is such good memories.
Yeah, it is. And that's what you're missing. And that's what I try to say to the boys, like, what do you miss about, mate? It's the locker room, but it's not just like the locker room's a cliche. It's like, that's what goes on. It's, you got all this banter, you got one bloke driving projects everywhere, and you just say yes to everything. And, you know, you just got 40 lunatics, you know, that are always smiling and fit and healthy. And, you know, you don't realise, but like when you're at a footy club, you're just training all the time, so you're always feeling good.
Yeah, exactly.
When you step out of that elite setup, you got to go plan in your day to exercise, which is it sounds silly, but it's fucking hard. Like you know, I got to do this today and work here and that. I'll sneak in a run here, and all of a sudden you've forgotten to do gym and you're skinny again. Like, but when you're at the footy club, you're around these absolute weapons. And when I say weapons, like elite coaches, elite staff, elite people upstairs in operations, and then you got elite players, and then you're all fit, exercise, and you're all fit. Everyone's humming. Everyone's got the same ideas, and you're collaborating on everything. It's fucking brilliant.
100%. Once I retire, I don't think you'll ever see me at a gym again or running, or there's no way you'll ever see me doing physical activity.
You've been knocked about your size, but people don't get it. Blokes like me and you, we're not built to put on muscle, are we?
No, exactly. I'm about 80 kilos, and
how hard does, because let's put it's like some people, I think I saw a couple of years ago someone knocking, he needs more size. It's like, you don't need more. I mean, you do need more size, but it's not fucking that easy. Like, you got to more think about what your strengths are, you know, your speed and, you know, agility and skill. But I had the same thing, mate. I was trying to put on muscle. Everyone's like, mate, are you doing gym? It's like, man, I'm fucking training my ass off here. I'm trying everything. I can't get over 83 kilos.
Oh, I think the put more weight on is the biggest cop out. Like, if I was hard, tough nut in and under, they're not going to be telling me I need to put size on. Like, Jai Simpkin goes hard at it. He's 2 kilos less than me. They're not telling him to put on size. It's because he's hard. It's because I'm soft. They're like, oh, Stevo, you need to get bigger. You don't need me to get bigger. You need me to get harder and stronger at the ball. It's more mentality than anything.
Yes.
Like, obviously, I understand doing gym, and I do my program, and I actually quite enjoy doing gym. But when they say you need to get bigger, all they're saying is you need to get tougher.
Yeah. And that's just a weakness of some people's game. I was the same. It's not like it's something that comes natural. It's more the outside game. And you go, oh, I've got to actually run through the line of it, and you want me to take a body there. I'm used to tapping it over his head and not getting touched.
And I'm trying to pick it up and spin out, because that's one of my strengths. So, I don't think they understand either. Like, if you had 22 inside mids that are all bulls, you're probably not going to have a successful side. You need that mix. So
you do, mate. You do, and you can't. Yeah, you don't want the same stuff. You do need your bulls, but you need your speed, and you need blokes out there. How do you go in the gym? This would be a good one. Are you actually a beast? Because I don't want to talk about myself here, but I was actually a beast at trap bar deadlift, right? Which is just it was the only thing I was good at. But fuck, I used to love telling blokes because I was so skinny and weak. But is there anything that surprises everyone out there that you're really good at in the gym that people?
Yeah, I think most leg exercises. So whether it be squatting or trap bar, I'm one of those. I don't really like taking weights on and off the plate. So like, if one of the smaller boys goes, he's got 90 kilos on the bar, I'll walk up and do that, and then I'll never go down. But like the next one, I might see someone over there's got 140, so I'll do that, and then the big boys have got 180, so I'll go do 180. Like,
yes,
sort of leg exercise. I can sort of do whatever, and I'd say one of the stronger ones there. So it's the upper body where I'm one of the weaker ones for sure. Can't really bench a whole lot and don't have much biceps.
It's hard, isn't it? The bench press. What are you benching?
Oh, like 95 for one.
That's all right though.
Oh, I've been in the system for 6 years.
You can get it. You can get 100 for one, mate. That was me dream. Like I'll never forget. It was like I played 100 games, mate. We had the Alex Natira, huge shout out. He was the gym coach there, and he's fucking always up and about. And I said to him, I think I did my calf tendon. I said, I need a challenge, man. I'm losing my mind. You know, I'm on the crossy. I'm doing all this stupid calf work. Like I'm doing holds of 180 on, bent knee. Just everything was about me calf every day, mate. How's your calf? I said, man, I need a new challenge. I want people talking about my fucking barrel chest, about how I can bench 100, because I'd never done it.
Yeah.
So he goes, mate, we're going to do superset. We're going to get you on the Smith machine. I'm going to get you throwing 60. Man, I couldn't even throw 60. Like, when you throw it and it like goes up and you catch it?
Yeah.
Mine wouldn't really leave me hand. He goes, and they're all laughing at me, and they've got the thing that you can track the movement and speed on it. I can't even remember what they're called. Anyway, I started getting better at doing that, and also like incorporating bench. And then I'll never forget, mate. I was like, he goes, mate, you're on track here on our system. You should be able to get one rep here at 100.
Yeah. Do you have all the boys around?
Mate, all the boys. I wish we filmed it. We got all the boys. Said, boys, this is for a record. And like, they used to have the bell and all that for your records. And they all got around. And I'm like one of those guys in the gym, like, when you, like, this is me in the gym, I can do endurance. So I could do 3 reps at 85 or 82.5 all day. But if you put another 2.5 kilos, I just couldn't do it, and I'd fatigue. But like, once I found that range, I could do 3 sets all day. Like, give me another 2 minutes, go again. So a bit of like of an endurance lift. There wasn't power, right? So when I do bench press, I would get the bar, get it, come down, and I'd start shaking, and I'm one of those blokes that I'm not giving up, but I can still move it forward. It was weird, mate. Like, I wouldn't be like, so I see blokes get it and go, nah, can't lift it up, right? Where I'm just like, anyway, so I've got it. I come back, I'm leaning back and I'm like, they're like, get it. And I reckon I was stuck in the middle for like 25 seconds and I started like shaking. I'm like, oh, and then I finally like my arms got to the point where they locked out. I've got it and I've racked it and the boys are like erupted. Blokes are humping me and so like getting your head and fucking belting you and oh mate, it was like the best thing I'd ever done.
Yeah. We were actually talking about this the other day, like the stuff you get away with in a footy club, like if you're working at any other job place, you're going to HR, you're losing your job, like this sort of stuff. It's unbelievable what you put up with and what you give out.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just, I mean, it's just different. It's different. I mean, you probably wouldn't do it in the real workplace, would you? But you can see if someone was. I think it's just the way it is. It's all in good good spirits. But like you said,
humping
you and belting you and
imagine you're in an office job, you send a good email and the boys are just there like,
oh mate, you'd be in strife, wouldn't you?
Oh, it just wouldn't happen.
Oh, it's
so unique, the workplace. I think I was
explaining it to someone like, someone goes, oh, when you have showers? So I think they asked about the new Freo facility when it got done, and I was telling them how good it was. like the recovery room, and you come down and then the showers, and this one had shower heads for pretty much everyone. There was 20 shower heads, and then someone, do you all just get your cocks out and just shower? And I'm like, yeah, we do. We all just get naked and have a shower and go and get changed. And I remember someone going, that is fucking bizarre. Like, at what workplace would you just get your cock out and just shower?
Well, it's actually bizarre. Like, you walk into the showers and a lot of the young boys like shower with their jocks on, and that's the bizarre thing. That's when they got their jocks on. What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing, you pussy? Take your jocks off.
That's exactly what it is.
And we used to, I think one of the boys, I won't name him, but he put up a sign, and when I was at Freo, it was like jocks and then like the no entry sign.
100%. I'm a bit of an exhibitionist, so from the start, like I walked in as an 18-year-old and I was pants off straight away.
They would have been going, he's confident.
Yeah, and I'm not going to name names either, but there was this one other young fella with jocks all year. Wouldn't do it. We're like, come on, mate, just share with your jocks off. Just do it. He's like, oh. So he does, out flops this. We're like, what have you been hiding that for? I would have been walking around like the king, mate. We're like, whoa.
It's such a funny topic. I mean, I can see Braden on the panels there. Imagine like all the editors in the room getting their cocks out, having a shower together. It'd feel a bit strange when you tell those stories, but at a sporting club, it's just so normal. And you hear about it at local footy clubs as well. I always see those funny clips where he's like, oh, I've got to get me, the young guy's like, I've got to shower with, take me jocks off.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking funny, mate. You see it every year as well. I reckon the bloke that is confident that whips them off, it's always a bit of a sign of respect. Early days, this bloke, he's happy with himself. 100%. Oh, it's brilliant, mate. Now, you don't come on here empty-handed, brother. And like I said, with the podcast stuff, welcome anytime. We'll do some NFL stuff later on. Now, you've travelled, I'd imagine, what is it, 6 years, 7 years in, what did you say? 6 years in. So a few off seasons, mate. I'd imagine you've gotten away. On behalf of RIXX, I'd like to give you a pair of the Melrose Dark Storm. These are back in stock. These are a hot commodity, these. So they're yours, mate. And anyone else out there that wants to look like Stevo, head online at rickseyewear.com.au and use the discount code ACES and you'll get free express shipping and 20% off at checkout. That's the discount code ACES at rickseyewear.com.au. Stevo, this segment is RIXX and retirement. I always repeat myself here, but essentially you got cash. You've just won live twice, right? So this is the scenario. When it's all said and done and you want to, hang the boots up, you've just cashed up, you're loaded, you're checking out, and you want to just buy a property and you want to travel or you want to live somewhere, but you want to take the RIXX Eyewear with you, the Melrose Dark Storm. What's the one location in the world you're taking them and why?
Yeah, there's going to be a bit of an obscure one, actually. I was fortunate enough through a school program to go to a place called Kiribati. So it's a lot of about 35 islands out between Fiji and Hawaii. So we went out there and did 17 days there. It's 30 degrees 24/7. So the RIXX Eyewear would come in handy for that. But yeah, we just lived off the land, had no Wi-Fi, no internet, obviously, no phones, no toilets, no showers. To have a shower, you put your bucket in the well, you pull it up, pour it over your head, and the water's reasonably warm because of the heat that it is. There's no walls or doors or anything on the houses. They're just there's a suspended flooring, I suppose, off the ground, and then just the roof. It's just free air flows through. So, that's certainly somewhere I want to take my RIXX Eyewear and keep the sun out of my eyes and enjoy, sit back, drink out of coconuts, eat fresh lobster, that sort of stuff.
Oh, mate, you're talking my language. How good's seafood? Are you a massive seafood man?
Massive seafood fan, yeah.
Oysters? Do you love oysters?
Love oysters.
Oh, good man.
It's got to have a nice how do you say it? Mignonette? You know the thing
The
like
vinaigrette.
Vinaigrette.
Yeah.
It's
And
like another one. It's MIGN.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter that or Kilpatrick, obviously. You can't go wrong with the
but I
Kilpatrick.
like it on the ice. I don't like it when it's on salt. I like it when it's cold. And they're not too big, which sounds like we're getting a bit, fancy here. But when you go to New Orleans, they give you these muscles, mate. They're the size of that bloke that took his jocks off and flopped it out. They're fucking monsters, right? You want the real niche oysters.
You don't want the thick ones.
Pacific Ocean, I think they are. They're Sydney. I know Sydney Rock, I think, and they're the best ones.
Yeah, definitely.
That's brilliant, mate. That's brilliant. And what I like, what you just said there, and we probably should all do this, but fuck, just turn the phone off for a bit and get out and just stop worrying about social media and get back to just living. It's pretty hard to do these days, isn't it?
It's very tough, man. I actually did it last year. When was it? It was probably like round 15. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go from round 15 till the end of the year without a phone. So I tried it. I bought a flip phone, actually an old flip phone.
Yes.
And I could still text
The
on it.
Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah. So I could still text on it, but obviously you had to go to letter B, you had to click 2 twice sort of thing. Like it was taking me so long to type. So then I just in turn didn't type as much. But it was so hard in terms of like getting my schedule for footy and getting emails. And I actually rocked up to my exit interviews. And we've had not the greatest of years last year. I rock up to my exit interviews and I roll in. He goes, all right, have you got the 3 questions we emailed you? And I've gone, no, I don't. He's like, what do you mean you don't have them? I was like, mate, I've got a flip phone. I don't get emails. Sorry, you can just tell them to me now and I'll answer them. He's like, mate, you're a professional footballer. How can you not have your emails? And so, yeah, I understand where he's coming from, but I was able to go till the end of the year with a flip phone, which was quite rewarding, but you just can't really live and work in this society without having access to the internet or your phone, I suppose.
You're spot on. WhatsApp groups become work groups. Emails become, notifications on where to be and what's coming up, and whether it's community work, you got to be there and you got to respond, or there's your ticket to things.
Yep.
It's amazing you can't get around with a flip phone. You need
internet.
You need internet. You need your phone. But the problem with it is you could do that for work, but you then ding, some other thing will notify you, and then you're stuck on TikTok and you're going down there, or you're on Instagram, or you might play really well and everyone's getting around you, and then you might not get a kick and blokes are fucking sending you DMs. It's just hard to get away. So I'd imagine off season, get the flip phone out for sure.
Yeah, I might have to again.
I reckon off season be a cracker and let everyone know, hey guys, heads up, I'm off the grid.
Yeah, the off season's hard though, because that's when you want to have your fun. So when your mates are going, oh, I'm at the Middle Park Hotel, would you like to come down? You don't want to miss those texts, do you?
Yeah, you want the WhatsApp working that night, don't you? Yeah, spot on. Now, our friends at Milwaukee Tools, they've been huge for us, and you also, you can take them off if you want, brother. What was the place you just said again? What was it called? Kiribati. And whereabouts is that in the world?
Between Fiji and Hawaii.
There you go.
So it's spelled like Kiribati, Kiribati.
That's a new one for the podcast. Mate, are you a handy man? Because our friends here from Milwaukee have given us a few tools for you, and this is the M18 fuel hatchet pruning saw, and you get the batteries as well, the supercharger starter pack, which I am told the starter packs are just valuable, mate. It's like getting gold in a tough economy. These things are a commodity as well. How do you go on the tools? Are you a handy man?
I'd like to think so, yeah. I've done a few days work here and there. My old man's a plasterer, so I've helped him out a few times, and never want to be a plasterer, that's for sure, mate. That is one of the toughest jobs, lifting those plastic sheets above your head and all that sort of stuff. I also did a day of bricklaying.
Oh, I won't swear, but what a tough job that is.
Mate, I actually said to the bloke, I was like, I'm going on a cruise. So I was going on a cruise. This is just before the draft. So I actually arrived in Sydney off the boat to the draft that night. So I was going on this boat and I was like, I want some spending money. So I said to a bloke from the cricket club, I said, hey, you're a brickie. Do you need a labourer for a week? He's like, yep, no worries. Come down Monday. Rocked up there Monday, man. The amount of shoveling I was doing, it was like a brand new work site. So there was no paths to wheel the wheelbarrow full of bricks. Yet it was all over like little skinny wood planks, and they were rickety old things. So I did one day and I was like, I'll take me 150 cash and get out of here, thanks. But
mate, I know exactly how you feel. I'll tell this story another time, but long story short, I got in trouble at school, right? Yeah, and everyone out there knows the story. It was in Darwin, got sent home. I'll tell a story another time. And I had to come back and I had to pay, and the flight was like, I'd pretty much been suspended from the school trip. and my old man's got the call at 3 a.m. and, you know, so I've come back and the punishment was I got to go do Bricklaying with Crofty, the craftsman. Is
that your dad's punishment to you?
Yeah, he goes, you're going to go pay this ticket back, mate, because I've paid for your school, you know, your footy trip with your teammates and, you know, EKC, the boys, and you've pissed it up in my pocket, mate, and I had to pay another whatever it was to get back from Darwin. It was in Darwin, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, you're going to go work with Crofty, one of the greatest Riddles Creek brickies that ever has been. And he goes, you're going to do labouring for the week. And this is throughout the Calder Cannons top age. I was in the leadership group. I'm trying to, you know, be a leader, and which I was, but like, fuck, had a bit of fun, bit immature. Anyway, this incident hurt me a little bit, but I've come back early. Everyone's like, trainer, you know, welcome back, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, long story short, I'm doing this. It was pretty tough TSC Cup pre-seasons with school but for this week, I think it was school holidays and I'm doing bricklaying, labouring. And mate, I know exactly how you feel because my mate Chadley was he was at TAFE and he was trying to lay bricks. He's trying to learn how to lay a brick. I reckon he laid about 4 bricks this day. And I did the whole week. And mate, we're getting up at like, and so much respect to people that are tradies. Yep. You are all fucking weapons. They get up so early, but especially brickies. Mate, I was mixing mud like you.
Yeah.
We're mixing mud. And I'm only skinny as I'm not very strong. And like you said, we've got good glutes, you know, we can deadlift, but mate, these
69 kilos
mate,
too,
same
when
here,
I was doing it.
And the wheelbarrow, how heavy does that get when you got a bit of mud in there? You know, and mate, you're going around the side of the house. Yeah. The bloke's out the back. He goes, yeah, mate, bring it down the back. So you're scooping the mud out of the whatever you call that spinny thing, whacking it in the wheelbarrow, and then you're trying to balance the fucking thing
on planks this wide.
Yeah.
Wheel and
if you tip it, it's like cement goes all over the joint, right?
Yeah.
So you're balancing it up. And I reckon I was doing that all day, and if it wasn't that, we were piling bricks. Me mate could do like 10 bricks. I was doing 6 because I was weak as piss.
Yeah.
And we did that all day. And then I was just walking around going, when's Smoko, mate? When's Smoko? And I remember my mum was packing like 4 sandwiches, 2 litres of water, every bit of fruit, every muesli bar, every pack of chip, everything. Like I was loading this thing up. I was eating it in like 6 hours. And then when you go to pre-season and then run around and be meant to be the fit guy running at the front of the group in the time trials, like it is one of the hardest things I've ever done, being a labourer.
Oh, 100%. And the thing I actually found the hardest, not labour-wise, but when you had to cut the bricks, so you had to, obviously for corners and that, you only want small half bricks. So I'm there with like the chisel and the hammer, like smack, stuffed another one. I would have broken 15 bricks.
Oh, they're expensive as well, aren't they, the bricks?
Well, I didn't realise that they're actually, like the brickie doesn't pay for them.
Oh, really?
So I think like the builder pays for them and the brickie just lays them.
They get paid per brick, don't they?
That they lay, yeah. But the bricks, they don't actually pay for. So I didn't really feel that bad because I wasn't losing him money. I was losing the builder money.
But the builder's going,
I've
Stevo.
15 of these things. I was like,
I never did that. I was I was a peasant, mate. I was mixing that mud and just stacking bricks and putting them in different spots so the kings could just lay them. And
I was really lucky. I did it with a bloke called Luke, and he let me lay a few bricks as well and put the mud down and the brick on. It was actually pretty cool.
There you go. Hopefully that house is still standing up.
Yeah,
well, there you go. There's a few tradie moments from me and you. But back to you. Anything else that you've done? I mean, that's a bit of labouring there for the day. Are you handy with any other tools?
No, not really. No, I haven't really had opportunities to do so. If anything went wrong at my house, I usually call Dad just because I know it'll be done right. Like I'll probably do it, but I don't want to do it to an 80%. I want Dad to do it to 100%. So Dad's really hands-on, can sort of do anything. So
it's funny.
Why would I do it when I can call him?
Yeah, I'm with you. And we'll stay on Milwaukee here because there's a lot of tradies tuning in. They're laughing at us, me and you. But we you know, I used to be and you are athletes. We're just not built the same way as these tradies. They've learnt these skills. But I reckon this is my opinion, our generation are fucking useless when it comes to hands-on compared to our old man's era and all that. Like they can change. They can, you know, if there's renovations to be done, it's like they can do everything, you know, and whether they do a good job, I don't know, but it's like, yeah, mate, I'll do that. Where my first instinct is I'll just call this bloke. He'll do that. I'll do that. It's
100%.
Different era, isn't it?
A lot of my mates are all tradies and I'm thinking, there's no way I'd want you guys building my house. Like, and that the whole generation of these kids coming through, it's like, I'm going to have to go to like the 7-year-old. So can you come out of retirement and build my house so I know it's done properly? Because these young kids, obviously there's going to be good workers out there, but just from what I've seen, my mates, I wouldn't be trusting them.
Yeah, they probably don't work as hard as they used to. The Milwaukee Tool, handiest moments of your career. What's the moment where, Stevo, you think back and go, fuck, that was handy, you know? And if it is a highlight, Braden can get it up. Was there a game or a moment where you kind of felt like, oh, I belong? Could be an Anzac Day goal. It could be your first. It could be just a moment where you just dominated. Is there anything that, you know, your Milwaukee Tool handiest moment or handiest game?
Yeah, we're talking about myself here, obviously, because that's how the question's forwarded. But I know when I kicked that second goal in the grand final in the first quarter, 10 minutes into the first quarter, I've kicked 2. I'm there thinking, wow, I've got 8 goals in a granny. I'm a Norm Smith medalist. All this is going through my head. I didn't touch the ball after that, but and we lost. But yeah, that was probably like, there was one where I sort of got the ball and kicked a left foot snap, and it was just perfect. Like that moment there, the whole crowd's erupting. You hear the crowd go up there, and then there was the people at the Holden Centre watching on a big screen. I hear them go up slightly after.
Oh, you could hear the delay.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
That's so cool.
So that was probably my handy moment.
There you go.
Thanks to Milwaukee.
Yeah, big thanks. And that's going home with you. Just on that, what's it like playing in a granny? I know you didn't get the chocolates, but you're going to get back there. That's the dream, and that's the beautiful thing about sport. Did you see Giannis's clip the other day about the reporter?
That was great, wasn't it?
How good was that? About failure.
Nothing's a failure.
Yeah, about success and sport, and referring Michael Jordan was it's just a great one, and he's so respectful as well. Coming off a loss as the first seed, losing to the 8th, but that's another story. How do you kind of gather yourself after that experience? Like, is it tough? But have you moved on, and does it drive you even more knowing that, you know, you've been there but you didn't get the chocolates?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said before, it was a bit of a whirlwind that whole first year, and we were going through. We knocked off Richmond in the prelim, which we probably shouldn't have done. I mean, so I got drafted pick 6 because Collingwood finished 13th the year before, and then we just went on this mad run. And we get to the granny the next year. It was unbelievable. And yeah, like I said, in the first quarter, I thought, how good's this? I'm going to dominate.
2 sausages in the first quarter.
Didn't end up doing much after that. But in that last quarter where it started getting close and we had a 2-point lead or a 3-point lead, and they'd had a couple shots at goal and missed. And I was thinking, I remember just on the forward flank just going, hopefully Pendle's going to do something, or I think Geordie might pop up here. Hopefully Geordie kicks a goal, or Sidey. Like, there was all these blokes. I'm thinking, like, me as the 18-year-old, if the ball comes to me, then yeah, great. But I was just sort of, and there could be a downfall, but I was sort of waiting for one of these stars to step up and take the moment and win the game for us, sort of thing. And I think it was actually really good having that mindset throughout my whole first year, because I thought my whole first year, it was like, if we lose this week, they're not going to blame the first year player, are they? So I'm like, I can just go out there and play and do anything I want. If I have a really good game, they're just going to talk me up amazingly. And if I have a bad game, they're not really going to say anything. They're going to blame the good players for not doing well. So I think that was really good to play with that free mindset.
It's amazing how when you start, you think like you're just so free. There's not much responsibility. It's kind of, yeah, you don't want to leave it up to too few, but you do not overthink it, do you? No. You play pure instinct. Like I always think back to things that I was doing in my first few years, and then once I started playing or getting dropped, and then having way more conversations about being, cleaner and harder over the ball, or tackling better, or your ground ball's a bit sloppy. All these little things I've never thought about in my whole career, like 19 years of being alive.
Yep.
And they just start fucking with your kicking. Your kicking starts not to be, why am I kicking? Oh, why are you kicking on your left foot? Kick on your right. Like, just things like that, they just stick in your head, and you don't play on instinct, do you? So 100%. It's funny how you just said, I'll leave it up to the boys and they'll get it in and I'll do the rest.
Yeah. It's really a win-win in your first year, because like I said, you play well and you get praised. You don't play well, nothing really comes of it. It's like, oh, he's young, he's developing, all good.
It is amazing. Well, while we're on that, before I read out, Sheasel's been amazing from the outside, and is he just playing free? It looks like you're backing him in. He's running around half back. Like, I heard he only went to half back a week before round one. Is that true?
A week before round one.
That's bizarre.
We were both playing on the forward flank. So
he was playing forward.
He was playing forward flank too. Yeah, and he was obviously a very good player as a young man. Very good, very down to earth young man too. Great fella. And I think we were both probably fighting for the one spot, to be honest with you. And then I sort of just played well enough that I couldn't in the preseason.
Oh, right. So it was kind of like, we can't play, well, we've got to pick both of these blokes. What can we do?
I don't know specifically, but that's how it felt. Like, I was subbed for the Pracky match against Doggies. So I sort of felt like I was on the edge. Am I going to get picked? Am I not? But came out, played the second half against the Dogs, had like 4 shots on goal, played all right. So I sort of like played myself into the round one team. And with that happening, there was too many too many forward flankers in the one team. So she's obviously went back and he's flourished ever since.
So you're the reason for this superstar off the half back.
Well, I think I'm going to claim it. Yeah. He could be sitting at half forward and, I mean, we're only getting 40 entries a game, so it might have been a very different start to his career. But
yeah, definitely.
I'll take credit for it.
I reckon you take credit. We'll wait till later in the year because it looks like a 2-horse race at the moment to see who wins the rising star. But
it's amazing actually just watching him play too. It's like we're playing and she's got the ball and he might stuff up and like miss a kick sort of thing. I'm like, oh, come on, She's. It's like, hold on a second. He's played 4 games. I'm out there thinking he's one of our key players.
Yeah.
Like we need him to be using the ball off half back, getting involved. And you forget that, hold on, he's only in his 4th or 5th game here.
It's crazy.
But he's already got that. He's got the ability, obviously, but everyone trusts him. Everyone wants the ball in his hands. So I can only see his career going up from here.
As I said, it's going to be, you got some weapons across the field, mate. Thank you for coming on, brother, and it's been great to have a chat. You're welcome, as I said, everyone. You come back whenever you want. Excited to hear how your podcast goes as well, mate. It's exciting when you, again, read out the name. I want everyone to follow the Instagram if they're listening now. What was the Instagram name again?
It's Reminisce with Jaidyn.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you're going to bank Kyle Chalmers, which would be your first guest, which he's one of our best, and he was the quickest, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
He's a machine. I'm looking forward to tuning into that one, mate. But all the best for the rest of the year as well. Hey, like always, they say stay positive, but young group, keep the energy up. Keep the updates up with the NFL. Again, Huey Greenwood all of a sudden is one of my favourites now. I think I'll be watching Huey and calling him Lisa Ann or something every time he gets the ball because that is awesome by him and great leadership. I'm the commissioner over here. I'm going to have to steal some of his ideas. But mate, all the best. The tools are yours. The RIXXs are yours. And hope you boys keep winning because it's great to watch. I love seeing you and Logie and Darcy and the boys get the chocolates every now and then.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure coming on. Thanks to obviously RIXX and Milwaukee for obviously sponsoring your show. It's great they're supporting you and you in turn have supported me by helping me out and putting me in the right direction for my podcast. So I really appreciate that, Tommy. And we'll stay in touch.
100%, mate, 100%. I might get you on the golf course and if you know that old putt, what is it, putt for dough?
Yeah, that's it.
I might need you to teach me how to putt because my putting's horrific. Easy, mate. And everyone else out there, thank you for tuning in. We say this a lot, but subscribe to all our channels if you haven't already and get around us. We're trying to incorporate a bit more engagement on Instagram as well, so get around that. This one, unfortunately, was quick notice, so your questions don't get asked and because I didn't put a poll up. But, love it when you get yourselves involved. We got some really cool announcements coming up. Stay tuned. But, again, thank you for all your support and make sure you get around the great man here and his new podcast because I'm sure it'll be out by the time this one's out. So, cheers, guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for listening to another episode of Tommy Talks. We literally can't thank you enough for all your support. Speaking of support, Milwaukee's MX Fuel equipment system revolutionises the light equipment market by delivering the performance and durability demanded by the trades. From the MX Fuel cut-off saw and MX Fuel sower machine to the MX Fuel power supply and the MX Fuel tower light, MX Fuel has you covered without the hazards associated with emissions, noise, vibration, and the frustrations of petrol maintenance. MX Fuel, equipment system, equipment redefined. Righto, we'll see you on the next podcast.